Welcome to the Java class. So today we will discuss the primitives data types in Java. Okay, so there are two types of data types in Java. First one is primitive data types and another one is non-primitive data types. Primitive data types are predefined in programming language, whereas non-primitive data types user will define the data type. For example, arrays and structure and classes. Whereas predefined data types, these data types are predefined in programming languages, which are predefined in inbuilt database we can see. Whereas non-primitive, the data type which is created by the users. For example, arrays and classes and structure. Examples for the primitive data types: integer, float, byte, short, int, long, tuple. So these are the predefined data types. Okay, so today we will discuss the primitive data types. Java has 8 primitive data types that are used to store the data during the program operations. In Java, there are 8 data types used to store the data, and primitive data types are special group of data types that do not use the keyword new when initialized. In primitive data types, these data types not use the new keyword while initializing the data. Okay, whereas non-primitive, for non-primitive data types, it will use new keyword. Okay, so here see the flowchart on data types in Java. Primitive, there are two types of data types. One is primitive data types and another one is non-primitive data types. In primitive, we have there is again divided into two parts. One is numeric and non-numeric. The numeric means it is the like numbers, and non-numeric means like characters. So in numeric, there are again two parts: integral and floating point. Okay, integral means it is the whole number, means without the number without decimal point, and whereas floating the number with decimal point. Okay, so in integral type, the data types are byte, short, int, long, and whereas the floating point, float, double. Okay, so inside the integral, there are 4 types. One is byte, short, int, long, and floating point. There are 2 data types. One is float and double. In non-numeric, there are 2 types of data types. One is character and another one is boolean. Okay. Next, primitive data types. Java creates a primitive as automatic variables that are not referenced and are stored in a stack memory with the name of the variable. As already I have told you, that is primitive data types are predefined and that are not referenced to that are not referenced and will store it in the stack memory with the name of the variable. Whereas the non-primitive data types will be stored in a heap memory. Okay. Next, the most common primitive data types usually in this session, that is integer and double. Here, you see the table here, primitive data types. First one is boolean. The first column is the data type, and this column contains the data types. And the next is the size and example data, means the examples for the data types, and description. Okay, here the boolean, first one is boolean. Boolean, it represents the one bit of information. Either it contains the true or false value, which is undefined. Starting at the beginning, it is undefined. We need to define our at the true value or false value. Example here, true value or false value. Okay. Next one is byte. The size is 1 byte, means 8 bits. Here the size of the boolean is undefined. It only contains the 1 bit of information. The example is in 1 byte data type, I can store 12 and 127. This is the example for the byte data type. It stores the integer from the range here 128 to minus 128 to 120. In between the numbers, you can store any value from 128 to minus 128 to 127. Next is the character variable, which contains the size, the 2 bytes, which has the size 2 bytes. It contains the character data. Character means here A, B, C, D, small letter A, and it can also contain the number, but in the form of the single quotation. Here A is a character, and here even 5 also is character, because I have mentioned here the single quotation. It considered as a character, and so I have taken on the special character, that is hash. Stores the 16-bit of input character. It can store the 16-bit of the input character. The size of the character is 2 bytes. Okay. Next is the short. The size of the short is 2 bytes. The example is the 6 minus 14, 2, 3, 4, 2003. It will store the values like the 6 minus 4, 2, 3, 5. Okay. So here it store the integer from the minus 30,762 to 32,767. In between the numbers, it will store the in between from the minus 32,762 to 32,767. Example here, see here the 6 minus 14 to 2,355. So this is what the short data type. The size of the short data type is 2 bytes. Next, the very important data types, int, common most wanted data type in Java or other languages. Okay, int. So int has, in Java, the int has 4 bytes. For example, with the help of the integer type, we can store the numbers like 6 minus 14 and 2345. Okay, here 4 byte means in integer we can only store the decimal number. We can store the only the whole number, not a decimal number. Sorry, the decimal number will store in the float table. The number without decimal will store it in the integer. It only contains the whole number. Okay, here see the range. Store the integer from the minus 2, 147, 483, 62 plus 2, 147, 483, 647. Okay, so this is the range of integer. Okay, it has 4 bytes, and example is 6 minus 14. Next is long, which has 8 bytes. It is greater than the integer type. For example, 3, 4, 5, 9 colon. So this large number, it will not store in the integer. So why they implemented long? Because it holds the large numbers like 34, 5, 9. This is what the large number, right? So see here range minus 9, 2, 2, 3, 3, 7, 0, 3, 2, 9, 2, 2 plus 9, 2, 2, 3, 7, 2. Okay, long has 8 bytes. Next is float. Float has 4 bytes. It stores the number with decimal point. For example, here 1.5, 0.5, 3.5, 0.77, 0.8. The number with the decimal point that will be stored in the float. Float contains the values like 1.0, 1.2.0 to 3.0, 3.1. So store the positive or negative number decimal from the here range 1.4023 raised to 10 raised to minus 2, 10 raised to minus 45 to 3.4028 to 10 raised to 38. So this is the range of the float data type, which contains the 4 byte of which size the float size of the float is here 4 bytes. Next is double. Double has 8 bytes. For example, it will store the number like 1.000045 something that it store the large number. Like here the long, which has the 8 bytes, and it will store the large number like double, like long, same as double is same as long, which contains the large fraction number. Okay, so suppose there is the number like 1.2436 as it will be long. It will not feasible with the float. So they have implemented the double here. Store a positive or negative number. See here range 4.949406 into 10 raised to minus 324 into 1.7977 into 10 raised to 308. Okay. So next is how to declare the variable in Java. The keyword new is not used when initializing the variable primitive data. There is a keyword new keyword used to initialize the object of the class or other non-primitive types, whereas the primitive data types new is not used when initializing the variable of primitive types. Instead, a literal value should be assigned to each variable upon the initialization. Means we can directly assign the value to a variable. Next is the literal can be any number, text, or other information that represents the value. It can be any number or text. You can assign any number or text and other information that depend upon the data type. Here the example. Here Boolean data type which contains only the two values. One is true and false. I have assigned the true value to a result variable of type. The result variable of type here Boolean. Okay. Next is character variable character type which contains only the character. I have assigned the C character to a capital variable. The capital C variable of type here char. Next byte data type B. I assigned 100 to a byte B data type. Next short yes. I have assigned 10,000 to a short variable yes, which contains the numbers. Next integer which contains the whole number. I have assigned 1 lakh to a I. Next I have used the long data type here which contains a large number. See here credit card number. See here the number credit card number or account number. So it's large, so we need to use long because integer is lesser size compared to the long. That we need to use the long for a large numbers. Okay. Next, how to declare the variables and literal. Create a class named VARTEST following and create the following three initialize the variable. We need to create the class that is I will create a class named VARTEST. You can create the class with other names, no problem. Create the following three uninitialized variable. Here create three variables. First one is I have created INM. Second one is character variable that is CVL, and third one is boolean. Display the all values to a console. Okay, we need to display the all values of a variables to the console and update your code to assign the following. Okay, so here we need to assign the values I number variable I 25, the character B, and boolean value true. Display the all value to a console. We need to display the all value to a console. Okay, so this is the program of how to create the variables. Here I have created the class that is VARTEST. Inside the VARTEST I have the main method which is static. About the static we will discuss in later session. Inside the main method I have the variables. First one is INUM. I have assigned 25 to a INUM variable. Here INUM is type of the type integer which contains the whole numbers with without decimal point. And next is I have taken the double I have assigned B. Next I have taken the value boolean which contains the true or false value. Okay, so I want to display these all values 25 and B to system.out.println. Just I am for displaying purpose I am using the line that is system.out system class to display the value of the variables. Here system is class. Inside the system class one method that is println, and I am just displaying the value of here INUM variable. Here 25 value of the CVAL and the value of the BVAL variable. Okay, so this is the end of main method and this is end of the class. Okay, so this is about the variables and how to create the variables, how to how to create the class and primitive and non-primitive text. Okay, this is about the today's video. Thank you for the watching, and next just for this execution just to go through the my practice forums. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.